Welcome to Star 80, 80 gowns, 80 dolls, and 80 years. Now, this podcast, self-produced and self-proclaimed web series was put together by me for the love of Miss Diana Ross. Now, through this web series, I've been able to meet so many different people from around the world. And yes, Diana Ross turned 80 on March 26th, 2024, but the party is still going on. And I'd like to welcome our guest, DiDi Vaghn, who is not only a aspiring and an actress rather in theater arts, going to Cleveland State, which is, of course, if you know Ohio, it's near Cedar Point and near the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She just graduated from high school and is in love with the legendary singer, songstress, Academy Award nominated actress, 18 number ones on Billboard's Hot 100, former Supreme Miss Diana Ross. So I'm thrilled to be interviewing you, DiDi. I was also excited that my friend and your friend, um, uh, basically Louis introduced us via Instagram. And of course, Instagram attracted Louis's mother to me. And I was able to give you one of the many Star 80 dolls that were on our Christmas tree because I thought, why not get all this repurposed tool from my fashion designer friends and my actor friends in New York City and create a tribute to Diana Ross. And it's just so exciting because now you are going to be creating three Diana Ross dolls of your very own in the Star 80 celebration with your aunt and
And my grandmother.
your grandmother. And you recently saw Diana Ross where? Tell us.
Um, Last year in September, I saw her in Kentucky. Yeah.
Wow, Kentucky. Was it in Louisville, Kentucky, or?
Yep.
Cool. I was just in Louisville, Kentucky for a conference last year. So it was very cool. So that being said, I thought we'd mix it up and I'd ask you exclusive questions because I've been asking fans from all over the planet, as far as the UK to Africa to Ohio today, with regard to specific questions. But since you're coming of age and you're going into your passion. And I have to say that you're quite the Instagram influencer. You've got a lot of followers and you really know how to work a camera, whether you're taking pictures or taking pictures of yourself. So I'm just thrilled that I get to see you in real time and talk to you and ask you these 7 questions because 7 is kind of a religious number. So here we go. What inspires you to focus? What inspired you to focus on this legendary singer? Now, I'm going to do the math, and you were born, I think, in 2004,
No,
2006.
2006. Yes.
So I Love You by Diana Ross was recorded and released in the UK and all over Europe. And then by 2007, we were all buzzing about Dream Girls because it was about kind of the Supremes and Diana Ross's rise to fame. So you were born in a time where Diana Ross wasn't the presence that she was when I was growing up and even way before. So what was it that about Diana Ross, the legendary singer, that just attracted you? And you're a fan. Tell us.
Well, when I was younger, like from being a little baby, the honest truth is my grandmother, who went with me to the Diana Ross concert, sang a Supreme song to my dad when he was a baby. And when me and my sister came along, my dad sang that same Supreme song to us. So my sister didn't much pay attention to that kind of music. It was just like a song she knew. But for me, I enjoyed it so much that over the years, I started to get into the Supremes and Diana Ross. And for me, once I saw like her style and like a lot of the things that she had going on, I was like, I really, really, really like her. So the point where early last year, I had recreated one of her outfits based off of things that I bought online. Like I just made myself a costume. I loved everything and still to this day love everything that she wears, like her music, her stage presence, everything. I'm heavily inspired by her.
And I saw the recent post that you said you loved her energy, and she was like 52 at the time, running across the stage in this red gold lined the kind of pantsuit and had the shorter hair and just has all this pizzazz and energy. And she was 52 years young. I mean, like she wasn't a spring chicken during that clip that she had all that energy. And it's interesting that you say that your grandmother sang a song to your dad, and then they sang the Supreme song. Do you know the Supreme song? Could you tell us?
Yes, yes. It is Everything Is Good About You from the I Hear a Symphony album.
Wow, so the B side to I think it was My World Is Empty Without You. I think is the B. I could be wrong. But in terms of that's a B side, was also a track from the I Hear a Symphony album, which was released in February of 1966. And of course, that happens to be my favorite Supremes album because it's got such amazing songs like Unchained Melody. And I loved the Supremes version of the Toys A Lover's Concerto more so than the Toys, who took it to #2, which at the time they said, the Billboard said it was like an imitation of the Supremes, but the Supremes did the imitation better than the Toys, who did the imitation of the Supremes. Hope
And
you caught.
I have that album on vinyl as well. I collect
Yeah.
vinyl records, a lot of them. I have plenty of
Yeah.
Supremes and Diana records on vinyl.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. Does the music of Diana Ross influence the design choices in any way? And the answer is yes, we can see them. Anyone that wants to go follow you on Instagram, you've got a lot of followers as yourself, as well as the Diana Ross fan. Now you have your handle is your name, but also Silk Electrics, plural.
Based on Diana's album, yes, Silk Electric.
Right,
Yes,
which of
that
course,
is my handle everywhere.
yeah, well, it's really because when I got that album when I was in the 6th grade in 1982, I was like, how cool. I kind of own like an Andy Warhol. And if you look at the album, you actually see the back of the canvas that all the liner notes are on. And of course, it opens up with a gatefold with the
Yes.
different versions of Andy Warhol's Silk Electric. And I wrote a letter to Diana Ross when I was at that age saying how much I love the album. It's ridiculous. And I thought I would get her autograph if I sent it certified, which is absurd. But anyway, when you're 12, 11 years old, you think of these things because whatever. So that being said, you saw Diana Ross in September in Louisville, Kentucky. And the next Star 80 question is this: which of Diana Ross's iconic looks or gowns you find most inspiring, and will this translate to the dolls that you're making with your grandmother and your aunt?
The answer to that is absolutely yes. And that is because last year I went to a prom with my cousin, and the theme was stars. And my first mind, Diana Ross. Simple. So simple, easy thought. Didn't take much thought at all. It was her, I did a look based off of her 1985 Oscars gown.
Ooh, yeah.
And
I
I
just
was
called
thinking
it I
about
love you when she went cha 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 at the end.
I
Yeah.
was thinking about doing that for my doll, since I said, you know what, I did the look for prom. Why not do that on the doll as well? Since I have pictures of me in a gown similar, I thought that would be what I do.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, that was like 85 that she did that, and her hair was kind of modest on the top, and then it fanned out. And she, of course, probably seen the George Hurrell, was a famous, you're going to be, you're a pretty established photographer in my eye. I mean, you really have a good eye with photographs. And I'm a professor. I know, and when I see someone that has an eye, you've got an eye. You don't need to take a class. You've got it. And if you look at the George Hurrell photographs from Greatest Hits RCA years, she's got the same dress with the interesting straps in the back that she wore at the Oscars in 1985, and you're going to be recreating that with your blank doll that I shipped to you. And I'm so excited. And you've got the hands in the air, right? Very good.
I'm trying to put it on, but I got blur. So,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
there it is.
beautiful. It's coming through. The people Can see it. All right. So that being said, I sent you three Diana Ross doll kits. I thought it would be fun to do different poses. So one is doing Stop in the Name of Love. I thought for your
My
grand.
aunt picked that one. My
Yeah,
aunt
I'll
picked
pick
that
that one. Okay. I also made sure that the hair was big, and I made yours the biggest. So I knew that you were going to pick that one. And then
one.
I think the other one, I forget. I think she's doing something like the other
It
one's
was it was almost like she was
almost a
touching her
diva
hair in a
salute,
way.
but a little kind of out there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So each one of you are going to create your own Diana Ross Watsy doll, or what I call "We Are All the Same Inside." And actually, if you look over here, which you can't, but these are the original dolls that were in my first children's book that was published about 25 years ago. And interestingly enough, these dolls led me to you. So because and I wanted to pass this to you that, when you really want something, you just have to go for it. And you have to kind of be like this and not listen to the noise around you. Just go for it. And that goes with your career and everything in life, even love. Sometimes you got to just listen to you and not let the outside world get at it. All right. And if the people that love you are concerned about you, listen to them because they love you, but they really, what you want and you're going to go for it. And these dolls honestly lead me to, like, love leads the way for Diana. These dolls lead the way to everything that makes me happy. And so anyway, when you follow your art, the money will come. You just have to keep following it. All right. So that being said, can you share what specific aspects of the dolls that you want your can you give us a little preview, because we're going to be interviewing yourself and your aunt and your grandmother later. Can you give us a little preview of what they're thinking of doing for their dolls, or do they know yet?
Okay, so I was giving them previews of little pictures and things that they could use because we know I have that on my phone.
Yeah,
I picked my look, but they are still deciding. My aunt said she did think she found a look that she wants to do, but she did not show me. So I'm unsure of what, because she told me that she was on Google looking at pictures for hours trying to
right.
figure out what she wanted to do. But for me, I knew right off the top of my head. My grandmother is still figuring it out, but my cousin is trying to steal her kit now because
Oh, well, it's really not a hardship for me to make one of these kits, man. I'm loving it. Like, I had planned this for about years. This was a years. This didn't just happen. I was like, oh, I've been planning this, been collecting tulle and lashes and everything, because people just keep giving me things. It's almost like I'm almost willing it or attracting it. Like, who would attract like all this tulle? I'm like, this is great. So I attracted this, not recently, but like somebody donated me the material. I thought this will be fun to make kind of blank doll kits. And I had this fan named Jim Pinkston, who I've known for years, as a teacher in Connecticut. And I thought, let's do a Star 80 birthday party for Diana Ross. Come on, let's do it. So I went and I sent all these doll kits that I made, but I had the hair pushed back. But with yours, it was fun to do it really big, like what we all think of Diana Ross. And I have no problem making another one. It's not a problem. It's so much fun. And I'm going to show you, this was the original doll I did that I'm like, because I've made so many versions of Diana Ross as a Seja, but I thought the body contours weren't right. And this is a gown she wore in 83. And I call it the blood, I thought this was the blood clot dress that Frank Sinatra criticized her in 1984, but this isn't that dress. The chain reaction dress, he called the blood clot dress. But this one was in 83 after the Central Park tour. And I thought, and this is all repurposed material. And I put the lashes and the earrings. And this style wasn't finished, but this was the first prototype that led me to make your pattern, as well as all the 80 plus ones I did for the Christmas tree that, like, I took a picture of. And I think I sent you a
you
picture of
did.
and I circled the doll that I gave you, and to all
Yes.
the people that I send the dolls to, because I
That is
thought,
a picture that I showed my grandmother. That's
yeah,
what made her want the kit.
oh, this is not a surprise to me in my heart and soul. This is what I was hoping for. Just I thought somebody would want to make one that's a complete stranger. And here we go. So all about like this is what Diana Ross says in her book. This is what I read in her book. And I always did it before, but it was kind of like it confirmed and cemented a mindset. And I just, as an artist to another artist, it's so important that we think that way and manifest things, whether it's happiness or goals that we want to reach that may be a long, hard climb. So very interesting. I can't wait to meet them. And I also can't wait to make the other kit.
Mm.
All right. So beyond fashion, what is it about Diana Ross as a performer and a personality that resonates with you as a young actress, performance artist? I'm going to call you a digital storyteller and a digital designer, because you're one of the things that I noticed about your post, because I follow you as a person and I follow you as a Diana Ross fan, in terms of you've got two Instagram accounts, to my knowledge of two, and then maybe there's more, but you do a really nice fire and ice photograph of yourselves that is kind of part Jodie Watley. It's all a lot Diana Ross, but it's you. It's so unique. So like, what is it about Diana Ross, the personality that resonates with you as a young actress? You're in a fine arts program, which is very competitive. And of course, you got in. And Cleveland, by the way, is still they do a lot of workshops in Cleveland, and it's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and a lot of, big test run plays in Cleveland. And for a while, Cleveland was the hub. Before it goes to Broadway, it's in Cleveland. They test it out and then they take it to the Great White Way in New York. So you're in a really rich area of fine arts culture. But what is it about Dinah Ross that resonates with you as a performance artist, actress, influencer? You told us the wow about it, but what is it?
So, seeing how confident she was as being herself was one thing that definitely helped, because I was always a kid who enjoyed things that were way before my time. So I didn't really fit in with a lot of the other kids. But seeing her being strong in who she was, no matter what anybody can say about her in the media or around anywhere. Anybody could say anything about her, but it wouldn't change that she is Diana Ross.
Yeah.
So seeing that kind of example in front of me helped me to kind of build that kind of personality of, well, it doesn't matter what you say about me, because at the end of the day, I am who I am, and nothing that you can say can make that any different.
Yeah, and the last track on Silk Electric, I Am Me. And
Okay.
her friends from a long time ago, Jamie Brad, who I know personally, and Freddie Gorman, who I know the Gorman family really well. They wrote that song with Janie, and then Freddie and Janie wrote the song, and then Diana added her own twist to it, which is a Caribbean flair of I am me, good or bad, I am myself. I'm no carbon copy of no one else. I will stand strong like a tree, happy or sad, good or bad. I am me. I am me. I am me. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the commonality of what Diana Ross means to me is the same as what it means to you, and the years between us is longer than long. It's there's a quite. I mean, I was well into my age as an adult when you were born. And it's interesting that you resonate with the same things, the resilience that she is, because, she really, if there's a book called by Shayla Watson, I believe her last name is, and it's called um, uh, This is Major, Notes on Diana Ross, Dark Girls, and Being Hip, or something like that. Don't quote me on the title, but it was one of the books that I wish I could have written, because despite the identity politics, it really resonates with me in terms of how, Diana Ross has been so firm and resilient to all the naysayers. And it just shows what a strong force, an Aries force that she is, and all that. So interesting. So the next question: what advice would you give to other aspiring creatives like yourself, Instagram influencers, who want to turn their passion into something that they can share with the world? What would you, to give someone younger than yourself, what would the advice you would give them? just like
I
get
would
into one arts or something?
I, I would say the biggest thing coming from someone who had to deal with a lot of the comments, negative comments from a lot of people about who I was and what I wanted to do and what I liked. Do not listen, because I went from being a person who was ashamed of, this is what I want to talk about on social media. This is what I want to do on social media because everybody else wasn't doing it, to being the person of, why should I care what someone else is doing if my passion is here? If your passion is set somewhere and you feel like you can succeed in it and it keeps you up at night, I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to do it. You do it no matter what anyone tells you, because regardless of what they tell you, if that's what you want to do and your heart is set on that, you do it.
Tell it to me. It's true. Like I was up all night thinking, I gotta make this Christmas tree. I gotta make this Christmas tree. And I made the Christmas tree. And then look at the greatness of this tree. All right. So this is the next question. This is especially for you. Any advice that you think that Diana Ross herself would give to you? So like Diana comes to you and says, DiDi, come to me. And then she talks to you, and what does Diana Ross say to you?
Ooh,
That
based
one's
off
a
of
hard
reading
one.
a lot of quotes, good things and great things in life come with great work. And without that great work, those things are not going to fall into your lap.
Oh, kind of
They're
like
not going to,
the golden reader's just not going to drop into your laps. You've got to go out and get it. Yeah.
you already knew what I was going for. You already knew what I was
Uh-huh.
going for. You can't expect the greatness that you want to have in your life to just fall in your lap if you don't work for it.
Yeah. And it's a testament to hard work and also resilience and really like, because no matter what, so many people, because I've been on the planet for like 53 years and now, and it's everyone will discredit whatever you do. So you got to like divorce yourself from being discredited. You got to just stand up like a tree, happy or sad, good or bad. You got to be yourself. And it's true with that. The golden dream doesn't just come. You've got to go out and get the golden dream. And with golden dreams, unfortunately, there are people that are going to like discredit you, but you've got to just stay focused, keep your eye on the prize, and go for it. All right. So, um, let's see. I don't want to make sure I forgot anything. All right. And then looking ahead, you're going to be, I'm going to say this and we're going to manifest this. I'm serious. Looking ahead, you are going to be the next iconic figure in theater and in film. Okay. And perhaps one day, do you think that you will be the monumental influencer that maybe years from now there will be people like you and me talking about you?
I would sure hope so. And I will continue to hope so until that hope becomes reality. Because if you don't hold on to the hope that you're going to be something, you're not going to be what you plan to be if you don't have confidence that you are going to be it, regardless of what anyone says that you may or may not be it. So I do believe later on down the line, someone will share the love for me that I have for Diana Ross and her music and her style and her confidence and everything that she is. I do believe that that will happen in the future.
All right. And because you believe in yourself. What's curious to me is a quote from Diana Ross herself with regard to, she said in the 60s that she had to believe that she was a star and then she became one. And of course, she acted like a star. And so she became the monumental star. And I think I would imagine, because I've read everything she's ever been published about her, I could imagine that she probably her life far surpassed her her belief in herself, and she reached things that she never would have dreamed of in terms of before she even believed that she could be that monumental star. So anyway, this was been an absolute pleasure, DiDi, to interview you as a actress. Do you sing?
Yes.
Ooh. So well, I'm going to have a bonus question. I think this might be, I think I already know the answer. I asked everyone in the Star 80 questions, what dream duet would you like Diana Ross to perform with? It could be anyone living or no longer living, because artificial intelligence, anything is possible, who would you want Diana Ross to sing with?
So there is a song that I never saw her perform this song with the person she actually duetted it with. I am in love with I'm Gonna Make You Love Me. And Eddie Kendricks, of course, has, passed on. But
Yes.
that song, oh my goodness. One of the first songs that got me to listen to the album Diana Ross and the Supremes Join the Temptations. I
Yeah.
have that on vinyl too. That that song, I had that song on repeat for days. So
Wow.
any if it had to be any duet, definitely I'm Gonna Make You Love Me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And would you be the person singing the duet with Diana Ross? I'm gonna the remake.
Ooh.
Because Lewis, our friend, Lewis, he said he wanted it to be him. He wants to sing a duet with Diana Ross.
Hey, I could do it. I could do it. I mean, I
Too.
would be a little nervous,
See, I
but
think it'd be really cool if we put it up that you played Diana Ross. Because Motown the musical might make a comeback. I mean, The Wiz has come back so many times to Broadway.
I
And
just don't know about that because I have sort of a different voice from Diana.
oh,
So I know that if I had some vocal training to, of
uh,
course, expand my horizons because I also haven't been vocally trained.
right.
So I feel like with a little vocal training, maybe, but I can sing a few things that she has here and there, but not everything.
Could you give us an example of what song that you could do here or there? Diana
Um,
Ross's very broad and vast discography.
are you just saying to say the song? Because I can just say a song.
Let's just say a song. Like, what song do you think that is in your
Okay.
register that you could replicate with or
Well,
without
none
Diana?
of them are really in my register, but when it comes to writing, I'm gonna give you an example. Riding in the car with my dad. One song I always try to sing until it comes to the bridge is of course "Come See About Me." That's the first verse and second verse is so easy for me to sing. But
Uh-huh.
once we get to that bridge, I'm like, "Ooh, somebody else got to do it."
Hey, sometimes
Because
up, sometimes down that part.
yeah, that part, I got to get there.
She crams in words so fast. It's like, who can do that? Like those songs are
Yeah.
not easy to sing. They're
No.
like the Holland Dozier Holland writing team. They put in
Ooh,
words that only Diana Ross could do. So
yeah.
come see about me. What else?
Majority of those songs from the early 60s, because my grandmother refuses to sing the leads anymore, she makes me do them all.
Okay.
So most of those songs from the 60s are songs that I usually sing. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some 70s and 80s songs that I be trying to sing, but I don't try
Upside
too
Down
hard
is
now.
really not an easy song to sing. There's no one has ever covered Upside Down because
Oh
it's
no,
hard. It's
I
really
wouldn't even
difficult.
try.
Yeah, no one even bothers. Like Tom Jones and Dusty Springfield, if you go on YouTube, they do a version and it's just god awful because it's not an easy song to do. And I would imagine even Aretha, who claimed that Niall and Bernard wrote for her, I don't think she could have done it. It's only a Diana Ross song. It's just
There are just some songs that nobody can sing and lead the way Diana Ross did because the songs were created for her voice.
yeah. And it's such a unique one at that. All right. So we are wrapping this interview up. This is going to be part one of a two-part special interview with, we're going to be interviewing your aunt and grandmother who have agreed to be interviewed and they're going to show off their dolls. Just give me a little heads up. Do you think that you want to do that today or do you want to show your finished results? Like you want to,
I think we're gonna do the finished results because
oh,
today
good.
my grandmother was messing around with
Suspense.
her sewing machine. So that's a
Yeah.
good sign.
All right, cool. And I'll be working on an additional kit for your cousin.
Yes.
Cool. Coolness. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful crafting day with your family and tell your cousin that I am going to make another Dell kit for her because this is a fantasy dream.
Him.
What? What'd you say?
Him. It's a boy.
Oh, it's a boy. That's even better. That's even better. And what is his name?
Joey. Joseph,
Joey.
Joey, one of the two.
Joey, so I'm gonna get Joey a Diana Ross style, and Joey wants the big hair too, right?
Yes, because half of the time, if I don't feel like doing that big hair, that's the person that's doing it for me.
Very good. So Joey is a hairstylist to your
Yeah.
wonderful world of acting. Well, best of luck at Cleveland State. This will go live soon. And thanks again. I can't wait till part two. All right. Be
All
good.
right.
Bye.
Do you have pictures of